What is up, PE Ninjas? My name is OJ and welcome to my village of PlayerEssence, where all of you guys can come get your latest Nintendo Switch and gaming news. And today we've got a nice little update for you guys, and we're starting off with a little funky, a little groovy, I don't know, Toe Jam and Earl back in the groove. That has been confirmed for the Nintendo Switch based on Nintendo's massive indie board of games that they talked about just the other day with their Nindies Direct. So it's pretty cool to get this game announced. And this game is very interesting because when I was a kid growing up, Toe Jam and Earl was one of those games that's like, what was that? Like, you didn't know what it was. Like, when you saw the commercials, like, you had no clue. Usually, like, when you saw a Nintendo game, you kind of knew what you were going to get. So when I first saw Toe Jam and Earl, I'm like, okay, so this is going to be like, I have like two people and like I play, like I do like a platformer, you know what I'm saying? And then I got a chance to play it at my friend's house and I'm like, this is not a platformer. I don't know what the heck this game is. This is stupid. But then I later played it when I was a little bit older. I'm like, okay, this is actually a pretty neat little game. So back when it first came out, when it was cool and everyone was talking about Toe Jam and Earl because the way that they were dressed and everything, it was like, okay. But then when you played the game, it wasn't like anything that you thought it was going to be. So it's pretty cool that this game, Toe Jam and Earl, is actually making a comeback. And I'm really glad that these developers were able to get this game kickstarted. And it's coming to Nintendo Switch. That's so cool because I know some people were wanting it on Wii U, but they weren't going to confirm it for that system. So it's really cool that this game is coming to the Nintendo Switch. I do want to read off just a little passage from their latest Kickstarter update at the bottom here. So, quote, "Right now we are focused on the networking and on the game's ending. We're making it so that you unlock new player characters and get new power hats at the end of each game. As with so much of the game, we want to make it feel very familiar and old school, just better, so you'll be able to walk around on Funkatron just like at the end of the original game. But this time, you can talk to the different characters. He will let you choose from one of the 3 power hats until you have the entire collection of 23. When you own power hats, you get to choose whether or not you want to wear one every time you come out of your elevator, and if you say yes, it gives you one at random from your collection. Power hats do all kinds of fun things to give you special abilities, though a couple of them are also cursed. Many of these ideas came from you, the fans, on our forum, so some of you will enjoy seeing your ideas in the game." See what I'm talking about, guys? Just from that last passage right there, like what what did that even mean? Anyways, I'm pretty sure this will be a treat for the people who love the original, and I'm just interested in playing this game and kind of reliving my childhood when I had that really awkward moment when I played this game. I can like remember it like it was yesterday. I was so hyped to play this game at my friend's house, and I started playing, and I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? So it'll be cool to play this game again and kind of see how I feel about it at this point. Alright, I'm moving on to the next article here, guys. We've got some news on SteamWorld Dig 2, the exclusivity as far as the timed exclusivity with Nintendo Switch, gameplay details, and more. So the following comes from an IGN interview with Image Inform's CEO. Quote, "Although it was very well received, we knew there was more to SteamWorld Dig than we managed back in 2013. Ironically, it was a bit frustrating to see all of those great reviews when we had so much more planned for it initially. So I think we knew we'd revisit the Dig era rather sooner than later." Here's also some features here. Features Dorothy, promoted from the merchant position in the original to playable heroine. Set just after the original SteamWorld Dig game, Dorothy has given up on finding ex-hero Rusty. She has moved to the town of El Machino, where something spurs her to head underground once more. Full non-linear world, growing inventory of items and skills, much more exploration and problem solving. Temple environment shown in the trailer is a tutorial dungeon and handcrafted instead of procedurally generated this time. So here's another passage from the CEO. "It's one of the ways Image Inform has improved over the past 4 years. We now have resident level designers, and we've spent thousands of hours on the level design of the game. Not only does that mean we can make the game interesting as possible, there are other benefits as well. We don't have to program around possibly dead-end scenarios as we did for Dig." So that's really good. Like when you support these indie developers, you see that the quality of the game goes up. Just an example is, look at the Bit Trip Runner franchise. Look at where it started out on when it comes to like the Wii and the WiiWare. Look at how that franchise looked and then compare it to at this point. Like, if you support some of these indie developers, you will get higher and higher quality games as the years go on. As they get more money, they can hire more people, but they can still keep that indie feel to their games. And what I mean by that is that insane attention to detail, to polish. That's one thing that you notice about a lot of really good indie games, is that they're really polished, whereas sometimes on the huge AAA level, you can have a AAA game that's really good, but not really polished at all. Whereas indie games, you got to really focus on the polish of the game because you don't have the money to put all the bells and whistles in there. So that's the one thing that I do like about indie games and I respect about indie developers, is that they have to do a few different things very well, and sometimes it's hard to kind of branch out like these guys are doing, but they're taking that opportunity. And I'm telling you, SteamWorld Dig 2, it looks like it might be one of the most polished games out there just based on the trailer they showed off. It looked very clean. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I was a big fan of the first SteamWorld Dig. I played it on a bunch of different systems, and I'm definitely going to play this one as well, since it's going to be a Switch exclusive. And I think indie games fit so well for the Nintendo Switch because you can play it anywhere, and that's the biggest appeal to me with indie games in the Switch, more so than the Wii U, is that you couldn't play it anywhere. If I took out my 3DS, I don't have that same indie game with me. It stays at home, so if I want the 3DS version, but then I can't play it on the TV when I get home, it was a bit frustrating. I mean, SteamWorld Dig was like that on the 3DS, where I was taking out two different versions of the game. It was just like, So I'm really happy that this is pretty much taken care of with the all-in-one device at this point. Alright, and moving on to the last topic here. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild can be completed when it comes to dungeons in any order you want. There's no specific order required for these dungeons, and this comes from Nintendo of France and their interview with Aonuma-san, where here was one of the questions. They said the dungeons can be completed in any order, but is there a recommended order? Is there any side quests? And here was Mr. Aonuma's answer. During development, I had to beat the game 6 times, and every time I completed the dungeons in a completely different order. There really isn't any good piece of advice I could give you, because the game was designed in such a way that players can complete them in any order. But what I would really like is for players to explore the dungeons as they discover them in the world, instead of trying to complete them in a certain order. That's how the game was designed, and it's more fun that way. And yes, there are tons of side quests, and this just makes me get giddy inside when I hear this. I've been waiting for a Zelda game like this. I've been waiting for the type of freedom that you would expect, that you would think that this type of game, if you were just out there in a world, you know, going out there, like the original Legend of Zelda, it's the type of freedom that you would expect. You're just wandering out there in the fields, you see something, you go explore it. That's one of the reasons why I really like the Fallout games and some of the other open world RPGs that have came out. You just kind of go in the world and you just kind of run across things, and sometimes you might run into an area where you're not strong enough and you get hit one time and you're almost dead. That's the type of stuff that happens in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's the type of stuff that I've been wanting them to do for so long, pretty much for like more than a decade at this point, and it's really cool that you're going to be able to do that. I wanted a way to just be able to pick up different weapons, pick up different items, use whatever you can, fight the way that you want it to fight, not just have, okay, you have a sword and then you have the Master Sword, and that's pretty much the only cool weapon as far as physical weapon that you're going to be using every time, and then a bunch of different items that are used in certain situations, like a boomerang and things like that. I wanted to be able just to have a bunch of different items like a boomerang and other items that can help you in things, but just more combat focused, in addition to exploration focused, and maybe not so much on puzzle and structure like the Zelda games have always been. So the fact that they're opening this one up, letting you have all the different types of weapons, letting you have different types of armor, letting you explore the world the way that you want to explore, letting you explore dungeons in the order that you want to, and side quests all over the place. This is exactly the Zelda game that I've been waiting for, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. Obviously, I've always wanted some type of like RPG-ish like Zelda, so when Hyrule Warriors came out, I was really excited about that, but this is finally the main Zelda game that has a lot of the things that I wanted to see in The Legend of Zelda, so I'm super hyped and super excited to play this game, and we're almost here. Pretty much tomorrow at this point. Tomorrow I will be in line getting my Nintendo Switch, so I'm going to be so hyped to bring coverage to you guys. Make sure you keep it locked here on PlayerEssence, because we're going to have live streams, we're going to have unboxings, we're going to have giveaways. There's going to be a ton of stuff for all of you ninjas out there, so just make sure you just stay tuned. It's going to be a fun ride. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you ninjas for the next video. Peace.